him to be a very hard-working person. Yesterday we were in Tamale, Kumasi, and then this morning we arrived here in Tamale. I think that if there is one thing he has been consistently passionate about, it's how we can reset Ghana and build the Ghana we all want, because we live in the country where this is not politics, it's not NDC, MPP. The President Nanado himself has admitted that 40-year high, our country is in the state that we've never found ourselves. Recently, we are being told that our national debt is 742 billion. The NHIS is collapsing, unemployment at its highest rate, cost of living, inflation. As of last year, food inflation was 55%. So what is on the mind of President Mahama is how to rally Ghanaians together and know that we have to have that national interest to kick the MPP out. And he has promised that he's going to visit every constituency, he's going to work day and night, and he's calling on all NDC faithfuls to join to make sure that this becomes excesses. Because you recall that from last year to this year, we've been doing the Building Ghana tour. We've been interacting with Ghanaians. We've been speaking to many people from different professions, markets, women, drivers, wives, mothers, school children, nurses, and everybody is coming to one conclusion, that we find ourselves in times which are hard. So President Mahama, what has been going through his mind is that a commitment to build Ghana, a commitment to reset the economy, and a commitment to make our country great again.
It's exciting to hear what may be going through his mind as we speak. You represent women, and this election is very crucial. You also represent young people in Ghana. As we walk into the election, especially speaking for women, what must stand out?
So for us, what stands out, and this is where, like you said early, we represent women and young people, and I'm a definition of a campaign that represents women and also young people. I think that relatively I'm the youngest campaign person on the team, and it shows you President Mahama's commitment to bring young people and also women to the table. But among the many policies we have for women, what excites me is the Women's Bank that President Mahama says he will establish. I, for the longest time, was a practicing lawyer, and many of the reasons why women were not getting access to loan is because women did not have collaterals or anything that they could use as security for a loan. But with this National Women's Bank, you can be sure that if you are a market woman, if you are a young woman trading, if you are a big woman in a big industry, the bank is going to be tailored to suit the needs of women to have access to affordable finance without the collateral system that we have. And I think that this is where women must rally behind, because for many markets women we interacted with, one of the major challenges they had was access to credit, access to finance. For the tailors, they wanted access to soft loans, anything that would boost their current, for the caterers, and you can name it. And so we live in the country where we are all admitting that things are bad, and if things are bad, government must step in to support women, because we are the weaker vessel, like we say, or the vulnerable in society. And that is where I am very excited. Apart from the National Apprenticeship Program, which will in the long way also help women in many fields like hairdressing, like dressmaking, like catering, and many other skills, I think that the National Women's Bank is also a good news that many women should embrace.
Now, John Mahama, as a candidate that have followed since 2012, that's 2012, is somebody who has always campaigned on issues. Now, for you as a woman who engages young people, and most especially at a time when the MPP is in government, and will also be referring to some of the policies that they have embarked on recently, the vice president, who is a candidate, was talking about empowering the youth by giving them mobile phones at an affordable rate over a period. When you speak to young people, what do they tell you? What do they want? And what is Mahama going to do for them?
Okay, so the first question of when you speak to young people, what do they tell you? They tell us about their state of hopelessness. They tell us about their state of high rates of unemployment. They tell us about the hardship in the system, how as young people they do not have the liberty of dreaming big and have any valid expectation that life will be better. Now, the issue of what will the NDC do, you know that there is a recent Afro barometer that was released where 9 out of 10 Ghanaians said that the country was headed in the wrong direction, and 87% said that they went at least a day without money. Eric, what this tells you is that every policy intervention of this current government has failed, and many researchers, including that of the national security, keep saying that unemployment is the number one reason why people vote for a party or otherwise, and that is why the NDC is proposing the transformative 24-hour economy, because that policy alone has the potential to erupt our economy in the positive way, to bring some revolutionary change, that you have an economic policy that is going to make sure that people in industries, in services, work a 3-shift system, and not just the employment. It must be supported by a good transportation system, which means that the government will be compelled to invest in transportation. It must be supplemented by good security system, which means that these young people must be employed into the security forces, into the army, and many other.
I'll cut in, but just let me speak to those who are missing the euphoria here at Tamale. So there you are, thousands of Ghanaians, young men and women, and of course it's instructive to know that many of those you are seeing on your screen as we speak are very young people who perhaps have renewed confidence in the former president, maybe because of the story they were told in 2016, what they have experienced over the past 8 years, and what is changing the atmosphere. But you were on what John Mahama would do differently.
Yeah, I think that I can myself. I'm itching to get close to the crowd,
and
that
I can't afford to miss the conversation I'm having
yes,
with you.
Yes,
but
yes.
of course, we'll be taking leave of us shortly. But go ahead.
It's also important that we have this conversation. So what I'm saying is that President Mahama is offering hope for young people, and you know, when it comes to your young people, it's not just the 24-hour economy policy. What we are promising is to have 1 million coders, where 1 million young people will be trained in coding, so that everywhere you are, whether you have a degree or you don't have a degree, as long as you have the requisite skills in IT, we will train 1 million coders. Recently, President Mahama met the fintech industry and said that 50 million cedis will be devoted to young people who want to go into technology. And you see, this is a man who has a track record of doing something to support poor technology in the past. You recall the Accra Digital Center, where President Mahama built with the aim of nurturing young minds and using it as a BOP for young people to work virtually across the globe, as we are seeing, even at the time when many people didn't know about technology. So when it comes to young people, employment is number one on the agenda. Developing their skills through the training is also number one, and creating the enabling environment for young people is also number one. And he has told you that he will form a cabinet with some of the youngest people that you have seen, and so for the many young people you are seeing there, it is not just a chance. Even the polls are suggesting that President Mahama is performing better among first-time voters, because this is a man who was in power and was engaged in monumental development that was going to translate in the next 5-6 years. And the MPP came and said that it's too slow for us, because remember, at the time President Mahama was building 200 secondary schools, they said that we would do 350, and so the 200 was small. At the time he was building huge infrastructure development. He was doing the Damongo water project, he was constructing road. I remember the major road, Fufusu Solar Road. At a point they said that we don't chew roads, and that was the mantra of the MPP. They lied about President Mahama, and today Ghanaians have seen that the MPP just bragged their way to power. They just lied their way to power, and they are experiencing a certain level of excruciating hardship that we've never seen not even under the previous MPP government. And so for many young people, they know that President Mahama represents that hope, represents that future, represents that selfless leader who has integrity and will do what he says he will do.
So that walks into my last question, because you have to
don't
go and then also be part of the conversation upstage. Now, what you just said reflects the anger on the ground. I've spoken to a number of young people who join public transport. You speak to ordinary people on the street, and you can feel the anger and the anxiety ahead of 2024. Does Mahama, or should Mahama exhibit anger? Is he angry enough? Would he meet the expectations of those who want those who are dissipating our resources to be brought to book, or he's not doing what people are seeing?
No, I think that every day, President Mahama is about the only leader who goes on social media and reads the comments himself. It's not that a third party reads and come and brief him. And so he even understands the language of the young people on social media. And if you listen to how he talks, sometimes he would use some of these terminologies. I think that every time he lives with the anger of people who are watching the current president and the family dissipate the resources. He lives with the anger, and he has said it time and again that in the past his boss, President Mills of blessed memory, wanted to practice father for all, but he is not coming to practice father for all. It's about time we recover the looted state property. And you see, one of the instructive things he says is that it's so easy to go after an opponent, because then he's an opponent. But even in his government, he would not tolerate appointees who are coming to make money. And this is the man who has done some before. He has an appointee who dreamt of making $1 million and sacked her. He has another appointee who was charged with an offense. In fact, he commissioned the investigation. And so if he could do this to his own appointees, I don't think that he can do that. I think what most people want is that they want President Mahama to speak with a certain anger, with a certain passion. I think that his style, and rightly so as a leader, is to stay back, be calm in the face of anger. Be calm in the face of pandemonium. Listen to what the citizens are saying. Imbibe in you the feeling and the passion and